credit rating agency Standard & Poor's is warning there could be a rise in downgrades of municipal bonds this year. This, as some are suggesting that states be allowed to file bankruptcy. Joining me now is Marilyn Cohen, president of Envision Capital Management and author of the book, Surviving the Bond Bear Market, which is right where we could be headed. Marilyn, welcome to the show again. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, this S&P warning. I find it concerning, but I wonder if, this is an organization that was under deep fire for the way it handled the housing crisis. Are they trying to get in front of the problem, or is this a new warning we should take seriously?
Well, the problem has been out there. Your listeners and your viewers are very well aware of the problems with the states, cities, and counties and their finances and their budget deficits. So I think that they're just coming up to speed to let everybody know they are out there to tell us that the downgrades are going to be in the hopper if things get worse. So I don't think this is new news. It's just confirmational news.
Confirmation news. Marilyn, tell us, as many of our viewers are investors in muni bonds, if one of the bonds they hold in their portfolio is downgraded, what is going to be the impact on them?
Well, usually the value of the bonds go down, and the cost to the issuer, whether it's the state of Illinois or whether it's the city of Los Angeles, goes up. And interestingly enough, there were a couple of articles over the weekend that said that individuals who own individual municipal bonds have been less likely and less freaked out at selling than those people who own the bond funds.
Now, I know as I recall, you're not a fan of bond funds. You'd rather have people hold the actual bond itself. Why?
At this juncture, because of all the headlines, they're only going to get worse because what's changed? Well, nothing yet. I think that they're going to get worse as some states and cities do worse and worse and can't cut their spending like they should. And so if you own the individual bond and you say, okay, the news is going to get worse, but my bond is only due in 5 years, I can wait it out. Whereas when you have a bond fund, you can't wait out anything because it doesn't have a maturity. And the massive selling that you and I talked about last week continues on, and that reduces the net asset value if you're in a bond fund.
Let's talk big picture for a minute, because there is a lot of discussion about the possibility of states filing bankruptcy. I want you to respond to something Representative Eric Cantor said, the House Majority Leader. He says there will not be a federal bailout of the states. I don't think that's necessary. State governments have the requisite tools to address their ills. Do you agree with him?
I do agree with him. And this whole fright night about states being able to file for bankruptcy, it'll be years, even if somebody had the nerve to bring that as a bill to the Senate or the state. And I think Mr. Cantor is stating the obvious. There's a lot of things the states can do. Number one, stop spending so much. Cut back on the spending. Stop being such a nanny state. That they are going to do and continue to do everything they can to make timely interest payments. This is not about the states not having the cash flow to make interest payments on the bonds. This is all about the unfunded pension liabilities that I said last week are on our doorstep right now.
Well, Marilyn, just cutting spending, though, doesn't go to that issue. Cutting spending will reduce future obligations, but we've still all got all those obligations on the books right now. So what do we do about that?
Negotiate them. If you can negotiate and ratchet down the expectations, and if you can set up 401k type of investments for new pensioners and bargain with the labor unions, that's a great beginning. We could work it out. But if the labor unions and those recipients continue to demand what we can't afford, then it's going to be an Armageddon as opposed to an opportunity. You also need a good economy that continues to generate revenues, and as soon as we find a bottom in this housing market, that will help enormously. So there's a lot of moving parts. There's no one answer, but all the moving parts have to be moving in a synchronized manner.
Well, we're going to keep an eye on this very important market, because I know so many of our viewers, they hold the bond funds, they hold the individual bonds, they really care what happens here. And no matter what the industry says that, oh, the losses won't be that bad, if it's just one bond fund that you own, it matters to you. Marilyn, thanks so much.
When it's your money. My pleasure.